GOP presidential candidate Marco Rubio is fighting for his political life in his home state this weekend ahead of Tuesday. It's an uphill battle for the Florida senator who, according to a recent Fox News poll, is losing to Donald Trump by more than 20 points. The stakes are high in the Sunshine State. Every Florida GOP primary winner since 1980 has gone on to win the nomination. Patricia Mazzei is the political reporter for the Miami Herald, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Patricia.
Thank you.
I want to put up a poll for our viewers, and it talks about early absentee voters. It says 47% have already voted for Donald Trump. So we are seeing a huge number of people come out. We saw one of our correspondents on the ground there. Can you tell me about the surge of the early voters? Are they new to the political scene, and what is exciting them about this particular election cycle?
Pollsters in Florida say they are seeing what they call atypical surge voters that they attribute to Trump. That doesn't necessarily mean they're all voting for him. Some could be voting because they want to stop him. But generally in other states what we've seen is that this increase in the Republican primary turnout is from voters who didn't vote in the 2012 or 2014 primaries for governor or for president, and that they have been brought into the fold either because they were independents or they were Democrats or they just weren't into politics at all. Mr. Trump is coming back to Florida tomorrow, and he'll be here on Monday also, so we'll be able to get a better gauge of how he's doing. Lately when he's been here, he's been having press conferences but not rallies, so we haven't really seen one of those in the state in a little bit. Yeah, we're also curious as to the events of this weekend, how that will affect Tuesday. But we certainly have seen a very vocal Marco Rubio coming out, speaking out against Trump, and he's also reaching out to both Cuban Americans and other Hispanics. But is his message resonating throughout that demographic? He needs the Florida Republican Hispanics to turn out in big numbers for him. Most of the Republicans are in Miami-Dade County, and I've gone to voter sites where I have seen a lot of excited Rubio voters. They're not all Rubio voters. I mean, there are some voters for Cruz, some voters for Trump. They don't necessarily vote along ethnic lines. They're voting for the candidate they like the best. But Rubio has the biggest operation from what we've been able to see in South Florida, calling voters who have absentee ballots still out that they haven't mailed in yet, and just trying to get their early voters out this weekend. Many counties in Florida shut down their early voting today, but Miami-Dade continues till tomorrow, so we might see another push for them then.
When did you start to see, I mean, obviously Florida has always been a hot topic for him, but have you seen him really pick up his ground game, especially if you remember last week we talked about Cruz opening up 10 offices in Florida. When did you see Rubio start to focus more intently on Florida?
In the past week, I've talked to voters who got calls, which is always a sign that they're really trying to get not only the typical voters, but also voters who maybe don't fit their general demographics. So they're really going after them. The thing is, voting by mail in Florida started weeks ago, and really an operation that was behind, like in your poll and in others, although others show a smaller gap, should have started earlier. No one was doing it. I mean, not even Rubio, but he was a hometown senator. Maybe he thought he could turn it around very quickly. Whether he will have enough time to actually make up the gap between now and Tuesday is what we'll be watching on Election Day.
Yeah, very interesting. And we only have about 30 seconds left, and this is one interesting question that I had for you. Heading into this election cycle, about 25% of voters are unaffiliated, and this is a close primary, so they won't be participating. So are we going to see even maybe more of a surge of participation in the general election, looking forward as we end our conversation?
We might. I mean, this is a state that has seen an increase in what we call no-party affiliation voters here in Florida, especially among Hispanics. So when it comes to November, I think the messages will have to be refined a little bit by the candidates here.
Very interesting. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us for your insight. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.